So, good morning to everyone, and welcome to this virtual session for Inorganic Chemistry 3 course. So, dear students, we are dealing with the metallurgical processes which used to apply so as to extract wide range of metals for our broad spectrum applications. So we have been doing the metallurgical aspect. We have gone through the different types of the metallurgy. You have seen that you have the hydrometallurgical processes, you have the pyrometallurgical processes, you have the electrolytic metallurgical processes. Okay, so depending upon the type of the ores and the element or the metal which you want to extract, we have a wide range of metallurgical aspect which depends upon the type of the ore and the element which we want to extract. Okay, so we have been doing certain aspect of the purification of metals. Okay, so even though we are obtaining the crude metal, but the purification is required because certain application demands the extra pure metals for its use. Okay, because you cannot have the metal which is fully having certain sort of impurities. It may be nitrogen, it may be oxygen. So those traces of the impurities should be eliminated, and for that purpose we are looking for certain important uh, methods which can be applied so as to purify the crude metal to obtain the extra pure metal. Okay, so in this lineup, we are doing the purification of a wide range of metals, including the noble metals. So we have been discussing the important aspect of metallurgy, which leads to have certain specific processes which involves in the purification of these metals. Okay, so when you look into the metals which we have been doing, so gold and silver are the metals which used to present in ores in very small amount. Okay, in addition to the gold compound, you may have some other compounds which may create problem in the extraction of these metals. So you have to have certain processes which we have covered up in the last lecture. Okay, so you have the leaching process by which you leach certain ore of the gold and silver into aqueous solution of sodium cyanide or potassium cyanide in the presence of air, and accordingly you will have the formation of the soluble compound, and this soluble compound is further, okay, undergo reduction in the presence of suitable reducing agent just like your zinc dust, and ultimately you obtain the compound that is your pure compound as either as a gold or as a silver. Okay, so this type of the process is known as a cyanide process for the purification or extraction of the gold metal or silver metal. Okay, so this we have did in the previous lecture. So we have gone through the aspect how this is possible. So basic purpose is to make the iron, sorry, not iron, the gold or silver particle into a soluble form, and this is done by the use of sodium cyanide or potassium cyanide. Okay, for that purpose we are using a leaching agent where you have been exploring this sodium cyanide or potassium cyanide as important reagent so as to form the soluble complex. Okay, this soluble iron is further reduced in the presence of zinc dust, and you are obtaining metal just like silver or gold. Okay, so after that we are just looking into the purification. Once you are obtaining the metals, okay, how you can purify certain metals, because we have applications, number of applications where the purity of metal is of a paramount importance. So you can have a number of the processes which involves in the purification of elements. you have fusion, distillation, crystallization, you have oxidative refining, where those impurities undergo oxidation, which has a higher affinity for the oxygen. So those impurities, if present in a part of a crude metal or crude element, that can be undergo oxidation easily as compared to metals. Okay, so we have wide range of such applications where you can have formation of certain oxides of impurities. Okay, so these are the some of the methods. So besides these method, you have important method just like your thermal decomposition. Okay, so you have carbonyl or the mode process for the purification of nickel and iron. Similarly, you have Van Arkel de Bory process, where we used to purify zirconium and titanium with the use of certain reagent which used to produce the volatile compound, which further decompose at elevated temperature. Okay, then decomposition of hydrides also involves. So another important is zone refining, where impurities are more soluble in the molten state, okay, as compared to the solid state. So that principle has been explored when you have the zone refining process. Electrolytic refining, we have already studied that how you can have the purification of the certain elements which are electroactive in nature. So these are mostly the alkali and alkaline earth metals. There are certain chromatographic methods and solvent extraction and ion exchange. Okay, so these are not much prominently used for the metals. These can be used much for the other elements, but the most prominent methods which we use to explore include these three categories. Okay, thermal decomposition, zone refining, and the electrolyte refining. So, dear students, sound is audible to everyone. Just raise your hands. Okay. So, dear students, we are now discussing about the methods for the purification of metals. Okay, so we have been doing this one, that how you can purify the metals. So you have the vapor phase refining. So in this process, the impure metal is heated with the specific reagent and produce a suitable volatile compound, and this volatile compound is further strongly heated, which will undergo decomposition, and you will obtain the pure metal. So this is the basis of the vapor phase refining. But when you apply any method for any purification of any metal, you must have certain prerequisite. Okay, the conditions that should be uh, satisfy, only then you can expect the process in the forward direction. So metal should have tendency to form the volatile compound with the suitable reagent. This is first condition. The second, whatever volatile compound supposed to be formed, that should decompose easily. Okay, when you heat the that volatile compound, so that you can recover the pure metal. So these conditions must be followed, must be satisfied, only then you can have the purification by vapor phase refining process. Okay, so you can see you have two types of methods under this category. First is Van Erkel de Boer process, second is Morse process. Okay, all these two types of the methodology used to follow the vapor phase refining. Okay, so as you know that this is very the first method, that is Van Erkel process, is very useful for removing oxygen and nitrogen present in the form of impurities in certain crude metals just like zirconium and titanium. Okay, so in this case what you are doing, you are just treating this impure crude metal with the suitable reagent, that is iodine, and there is a formation of zirconium tetra iodide. Okay, so this is happen to occur in a certain atmosphere, okay, where you have the temperature around 597 degrees Celsius. Okay, so once this volatile compound is formed, you further heat this volatile compound, and because of heating, you are obtaining the extra pure element, that is zirconium, and there will be elimination of the elements which supposed to be a part of this crude matter. Okay, so once it is formed, then it further decompose to liberate the iodine. Iodine is already volatile substance, so this is how you can have the elevation of temperature and how the volatile compound is going to decompose at that particular temperature. Similarly, the same thing is happen when you have the titanium as impure metal, you are treating with iodine, and this reaction is proceeding at 250 degrees Celsius to form the volatile titanium tetraiodide compound. So this is thermally unstable. As you increase the temperature around 1427 degrees Celsius, this compound decompose, and the iodine will be liberated, and you will in a position to obtain the pure titanium metal. Okay, so this is the method where we use the vapor phase refining process. Okay, so this is one methodology. Now the next is Moore's process. This is useful for refining nickel as well as for the iron also. Okay. So what you are doing, you are just having the impure nickel or crude metal of nickel, which is heated with a strong stream of carbon monoxide gas. So when this is heated with the carbon monoxide, so there will be formation of the carbonyl compound. Okay, so this is a carbonyl, that is nickel tetracarbonyl compound is produced, and the impurities which are a part of that crude metal will be eliminated when this volatile substance, that is nickel tetracarbonyl, will be heated strongly, and it is going to further decompose into metal, that is pure metal, along with the liberation of carbon monoxide. Okay, so you can see you have the impure metal, it heated with the carbonyl at a particular temperature around 57 to 77 degrees Celsius, and as a result of that you have the formation of volatile compound. Okay, so this is volatile compound. When you further elevate the temperature of the process around 177 to 197 degrees Celsius, this volatile compound is not exhibiting the thermal stability, and it is going to break down. Okay, it will decompose and it will liberate the gas as a carbon monoxide, and you will obtain the pure nickel metal. Okay, so this is how things are going to be proceed when we look into the process of the uh, this vapor phase refining. Okay, so I'm just launching one pool question. So we are talking about the purification of elements. Okay, This is your pool question. Which of the following is used to purify zirconium and nickel respectively? We are just having certain methods which can be explored for the purification purpose. So you might have the idea that what is the basis and what is the name of the process where the suitable reagent is applied in order to obtain the volatile compound. Okay, so volatile formation of volatile compound is one of the prerequisite for this process. Okay, only then you can expect that there will be a decomposition of that volatile compound as you elevate the temperature of the process, and ultimately you will going to obtain the pure metal. Okay, metal which will be lacking any type of the impurity, which will be not having any type of the impurity. There are certain impurities which always exist when you have the metal in the crude state, so you have to have certain process for the purification of metals. Okay, so when you look into this aspect, so we have wide range of the processes which can be applied, and it vary from metal to metal. So the second option is the correct option for the given pool question. So I am going to close the pool. Which of the following, when we look into the certain processes, we have to have certain specific reagents. These reagents are important because they used to form the volatile compound. This is another cool question. So you can have wide range of the possibility, but which reagent is supposed to be preferred? So that is the separate issue that depends on the condition which particular reagent should satisfy. Okay, only then you can have the situation where you can explore that particular substance for the purification process. Okay, so I'm going to close the pool. The first is the correct option because iodine is volatile and it used to form the volatile complex, okay, which gradually decompose when you elevate the temperature of the process, and ultimately you are going to obtain the titanium metal in a pure state. Okay, so when you look into this process, so you will ultimately obtain the nickel in the pure state. Now, when we look into the another uh, process where the vapors are not explored, but the zone is explored, so we used to call a zone refining process. Okay, this technique of the purification of impure metal is based upon certain solubility. Okay, certain impurities has higher tendency in the molten and liquid state as compared to the solid state. If a metal is present in two states, so the impurity will have high tendency to move from solid to the liquid or the molten state. So that is the basis of the refining of the metal. Okay, so this is a technique for purification of an impure metal in which a molten region travels to the material to be refined. Okay, and pick up the impurities as it advances the edge, and then allow the purified part to be recrystallized at a opposite edge. So zone refining is useful method to get the metal with a high purity. Okay, so you know that we have certain application where we have to have certain prerequisite condition for the material to be used for that particular application. Okay, so you can have the application of material in the semiconductor industry. So there you require a high purity metals, just like silicon, germanium, gallium, beryllium. So these metals are not crude metals. They have to have the high purity. Okay, so this character can be only obtained when you refine the crude metal again and again. Okay, so such type of the materials can be obtained through this zone refining process. Okay, so it is referred to be a zone refining, can be named by certain names also: zone melting, floating zone process, or traveling melting zone. So this is the these are the other names of the techniques which people use to coin in order to define the zone refining by some other name. Okay, so when we look into this process, so this process is based on that the impurities has higher solubility in the molten state, okay, as compared to the solid state. So this is the basic principle behind this zone refining. Okay, means if you have the impure metal and that impure metal has impurity, so when you provide thermal energy, so it will change its molten, it changes from solid to molten state. Okay, so whatever impurities is lying nearby, that will be dragged into the molten state. Okay, and whatever you are later on obtaining the solidified metal, that will be a pure metal. Okay, so the difference in the solubility of impurities make it possible to segregate the impurities in the metal to be refined. Okay, so this principle is explored here or exploited here for the purpose of refining the metals. Okay, so how you have to have the process which involves in the purification of the metals. Okay, so there will be a circular mobile heater is placed around the impure metal. Okay, there will be a circular mobile heater. Okay, means this heater can move as per the need, and it will be having a space where you can place the impure metal inside, and this will be a system where the heating will be provided. Okay, this is a circular heater, and you will place the rod of the metal to be purified. Okay, here. Okay, so as heater shift from one zone to of the metal to the another, the impurities also shift to the zone with the molten metal. Means if you provide heat, so whatever impurities is here, and you keep on shifting the zone from one point to another, whatever impurities is present, that will shift along with this molten zone. So the left part will be solidified and it will be pure metal, whereas the impurities will have high tendency towards the molten state. So these impurities will keep on moving from one end to the another end. Okay, as you move the heater. Okay, so it is moving along with the zone. Okay, because zone involves the molten state when you shift the zone. So along with the shift of the zones, molten state is shifted from one point to another point in the crude metal. So whatever impurities is there, they will going to shift along with that particular molten state. Okay, so finally impurities get concentrated, and at the last impurities will be concentrated at the last point where the heater is placed at the last edge of the rod, that is crude rod. So whatever impurities is present in whole rod or in whole metal, that will be concentrated at the end. Okay, and then you can discard this portion. Okay, and the left portion will have the possibility that it is much pure because we have eliminated the impurities by Joule refining process. Okay, so you will just have a process in which a rod is placed in a tubular zone refiner. So in a zone refiner, a inert gas atmosphere is maintained. Okay, so you have a heater, you have placed the rod, and this is enclosed in a inert gas atmosphere. A circular mobile heater is placed around the road, and this heater moves along the road from one point to the another. Okay, so there is a motion as I have explained. So at the time the heater melt a particular, when you have the heat around the melt, so naturally this heater will provide sufficient amount of energy at a particular zone of the crude metal. Okay, and it will melt that portion of the crude metal. Okay, so as the heater moves along the road, the molten state of the previous zone solidified. Okay, so when you move the rod along the crude metal, then you have the situation where these impurities will move into the molten state. Okay, and the previous zone will be solidified. Okay, so the previous zone is going to be solidified as you move the heater from one end to the another end. Okay, so during the solidification of the metal, the impurity of the zone will move into the newly heated zone. Okay, means how it is shifting? It is shifting from solid to the molten state, and impurities will gradually move from the solid to the liquid or molten state because it has higher solubility in the molten state. Okay, so in other words, as the heater shift from one zone of the metal rod to the another, the impurity also shifted to the zone of molten state. So molten state will have higher percentage of impurities because it has a higher solubility for the impurities. Okay, so you can see from this diagram that how you have the molten state. Okay, this is the state which is recrystallized. So you start putting heater here. Okay, suppose this is heater. As you move from this point to this point, the impurities which supposed to be present in this part will move into the molten state. This is your molten state. Okay, because impurities has higher affinity for the molten state. So gradually you move from this point to this point, and you move along this crude metal rod. So whatever impurities are there, they will gradually moving towards this molten state. Okay, so whatever impurities here, they will having affinity for this molten state. So you gradually move along this rod, and ultimately you will have at the end the portion which will have the impurities. Okay, so you can discard this one, and whatever you are getting the metallic rod, that will be a crystalline metallic surface. Okay, so which is free from the impurities, and this impurities are removed by zone refining process. Okay, so you can have such type of the applications in specific purification method where you require high or ultra pure metals for these certain applications. Okay, so you can have such type of the methodology in a number of the metals where we have certain application, just like in your semiconductor industry, we require the extra pure metal. So this is the same case how the metal is recrystallized, okay, which is free from the impurities, and molten state will be having impurities. Okay, so this is the rod, which is a crude metal. Okay, it is a metal having maximum metal, but in addition to metal, it will have certain impurities. So here the heater is moving along this rod. Okay, so this way you can have the purification process. Okay, so there are number of the cases which we can explore for the purpose of purifying the substance. Okay, so this is all about this metallurgical aspect. First, you should know what are the ores. Okay, how the minerals are exploited for the extraction. Okay, so minerals should not be a simple mineral; it should be ores. Ores are the minerals which from which we can beneficially extract the metals or the elements of our interest. Okay, so after that you should know why the certain metals used to exist in free state and why certain metal used to exist in the combined state. So it can be explained on the basis of the standard reduction potential. You have electrochemical series. You can see at the top of the series, we have the standard reduction potential, which will compel these metals to be remain in active form. So because of its activity, it used to have the combined state in the ores. Okay, either oxide, either sulfide, or either carbonate form. But as you move down the series in the series, so you will see at the bottom you will find the noble metals, and these noble metals have the lesser reactivity, and they try to exist either as a free state. Okay, some of them may be present in both the states, some may have some combined state, but they have better tendency to be exist in the free state or native state. Okay, so once you have the situation of purification on the extraction of these metals, then you have to have certain specific method that can be applied for the extraction of these metals. Okay, so in a metallurgy, you have basically three types of the metallurgy where you can explore the temperature. You can vary the temperature, so there is a process which known as pyrometallurgical process. Okay, similarly you have the metallurgy process where you explore the water, and you have number of the example which we have studied in the last lecture, how we can extract the metals by exploring such type of important metallurgical process. Similarly you have the electrolytic metallurgical aspect, which can be explored when the metals which you want to extract is electroactive in nature. Okay, so you have alkali metals, alkaline earth metals, okay, which can be extracted by exploring this technique. Okay, similar to this, once you have obtained these metals, okay, these metals can be extracted by having certain processes, specific process, just like your cyanide process. Okay, where the precious metals are supposed to be present in very small concentration in the ores. Okay, so there you have to have some uh, way. That way is how you can make those insoluble particle of that particular metals to be solubilized for the purpose of extraction. For that reason, you have certain reagent, just like we have leaching process where we used to apply sodium cyanide. So when sodium cyanide or the potassium cyanide used to react with the metal, there is a formation of soluble ion which further undergo reduction, and because of the reduction you are able to extract the precious metal just like gold or silver. Okay, so you have the application of such leaching agent because the purpose of adding the sodium cyanide or potassium cyanide is to make the insoluble component of the interested analyte, okay, to obtain the soluble component, which is only further undergo reduction process to obtain the metal. Okay, so this is one way. Now once you have the metals, so you have to have the applications where you require the extra pure metals. For that purpose you have to have certain methods which can be applied so as to purify the metals. Okay, so you can have the fusion crystallization process where you can purify the elements. Similarly, you have oxidative refining where certain impurities present in the metal or in certain elements can be oxidized. They have better affinity for the oxygen rather than the metal. So these impurities will oxidize and eliminate it from the metals. Okay, and in this lineup you have two important another refining. One is known to be a vapor phase refining, another is known to a zone refining. So in vapor phase refining, the metal should specify two primary conditions: that it is going to have a suitable reagent which can further form the volatile compound. Okay, so the volatile compound will further decomposed when you eliminate the not eliminate, sorry, when you elevate the temperature of the process. So those volatile substance will decompose as you increase the temperature, and simultaneously you will obtain the pure metal. Okay, so this is applicable when you have a metal purification of zirconium and titanium. So you are exploring the use of iodine as a reagent which used to form the volatile compound, that is a metal tetraiodate. It is a zirconium tetraiodate or titanium tetraiodate. So this volatile compound used to decompose at the high temperature. When you increase the temperature of the process above 1000 degrees Celsius, so this compound will gradually decompose and liberate the reagent, and simultaneously you will obtain the metal which should be free from the impurities which supposed to be there in the crude metal. Okay, so that is your vapor phase refining. So one method is Van Arkel process, where we have discussed the application for the purification of zirconium and titanium. Similarly, you have mold process, which instead of exploring the iodine, we have to have the gas which is supposed to react with the crude metal just like your iron or nickel. And when you have the reaction, there is a formation of the carbonyl compound of nickel and iron, and this carbonyl compound is highly volatile. Okay, so if you keep on increasing the temperature of the process, when these volatile substances or moieties are formed in the reaction, then ultimately these carbonyl compound will break down, and there will be elimination of the suspected impurities. Okay, ultimately you are able to get the pure metal. Okay, so this is happening when you have the vapor phase refining process. Similarly, the zone refining is based upon the principle that the impurities, they are supposed to have higher affinity for the molten state. So you should have arrangement where the movable heater is used in the inert atmosphere. You are placing the crude metal, and this heater used to heat up the different zones of the metal, and as it moves it keep on moving the impurities in the molten state. Okay, so molten state at the end will have the impurities, whereas the solidified portion of the crude metal will have the purity, high purity. So you are going to obtain the ultra pure metallic substance by zone refining. So this has been explored for the purification of metal, just like zirconium, germanium, okay, where you require the metals in extra pure state. Okay, so this is how you can carry out the metallurgical aspect. Okay, so we have also gone through the ed diagrams, how it used to explain that the metal, if lying below in the ED diagram, can act as a better reducing agent. Okay, but this behavior changes with the temperature. So you will have the upward line, but it may become downward line also, downward curve also. So depending upon the variation in temperature, the molecule can exhibit variation in its reducing property. Okay, so ED diagram is very useful in defining the reducing aspect of the reagent, whether we can apply particular reagent at particular temperature for the reduction of certain metal oxide. Okay, because once you have obtained the ore, that has to be processed so as to obtain the metal, and during this process you are having calcination and roasting process, where you are getting the metal in the form of metal oxides. Okay, so these oxides is further should be reduced. Okay, for that purpose you generally increase the temperature of the metallurgical processes, and these suitable reagents supposed to have the affinity to reduce that metal oxide. Okay, because it will itself get oxidized and it will reduce. So whatever oxide is formed, that will be more stable as compared to the oxide which it has reduced already. Okay, so that is why that ed diagrams used to be explored for the purpose of knowing better idea that which of the options we have and which of the option will have better property to act as a reducing agent. Okay, so you have studied carbon, carbon monoxide, aluminum, okay, aluminum oxide. So all these are having the tendency, but how it will proceed, the rational logic behind this whole reducing property is produced and given by this ED diagrams, which explain that how there is a variation in the reducing property of certain metals. Okay, as you keep on increasing the temperature. Okay, so this try to explain the reducing aspect in a much better way. Okay, so this is all about the metallurgical aspect. Okay, so I'm just launching one full question. So this is your full question. So the first option is the correct option. So we have either the use of sodium or potassium cyanide, and this is used for the extraction of noble metals, just like your gold and silver. Okay. So dear students, this is all about the metallurgical aspect, which is a part of your syllabus. Thank you to all of you. Now you can just leave the session.